Howdy, folks. Welcome to our new. This is a fun one. Long time in the making. You might have seen this before. That used to call it the driver timeline chart, and had a lot of requests to add more to it to make it a little more worthwhile and versatile. So this is what we're calling the driver deep dive. It's kind of like a driver details on steroids. Uh, Kicked it up a notch. Doesn't quite show everything it can do in replay, so I'm gonna use a combination of screen captures and things to show you what's going on here. But the first thing I'll do is I am going to just kind of speed up this race so that we build some lap data in the background while we're talking. But the basics of this one are you've got a space for driver details and some stats, and then you've got a placeholder on the right for a chart. And for now, we're going to come out with two chart types. There's a third one I can't quite get a bug fixed in, so we're going to hold off on releasing that one. But for now, we'll start with no deep dive. Oh, I mean, no chart. And give me a second here to find the driver I want. Well, let's start with, I'm going to find someone who's got all the information. They've got driver pictures and all of it. There we go. All right, so we'll start with Zane Woods as an example. So it's going to come up, it's going to show you their position, where they started, their net gain, their best lap, and the number of pit stops they've had. This is kind of the basics here. You're also going to get the car rendering, and two image holders, which I like to use driver photo and team logo. Again, my league uses a lot of team logos, so I like to keep that in there. But that left hand, and then you'll have the name obviously in their number rendered up in the top left. And then you've got some options to play around with. So that middle picture can be a driver photo, it can be a car logo, or it can be nothing. And if you have driver photo selected and the driver doesn't have one, it falls back to car logo and things. So you always can have something there. The one in the left slot, you've got options for team logo, club flag, or none. So you can go just get the car, although it looks a little empty to me. So I love team photo, driver photo, but you can kind of work out what you want to do there. And then you've got the first option for the chart is the lap chart. All right, so this is position by lap. It's also going to map out all the pit stops the driver makes here, and it uses that same pit stops assumption logic that all of my plugins do, where you use the pit stop time to try and infer how many tires they took or if they made repairs and whatnot. So you're going to see that in this chart in these orange circles. Now, in a live race, the cautions would also be on the chart. I'll show you a picture of that here in just a moment. And then you can also get some, let's see, here we go. So you'll also see, now I got everything on top of each other. Apologies. So in this example picture I've got right here, you can see we're looking at Walter Sahadak. This also shows the webcam, so this integrates seamlessly with the SDK video component. So if you have a video ready for a driver, it will automatically show here, and I'll show you that live when we switch back to the HUD instead of this picture. But I want to show you what the caution laps look like. There's a big yellow dot when the caution comes out, and then there's small yellow dots for the laps where you remain under caution. And that just kind of helps you recap the race as a whole as you're doing it. And then we'll come back and I'll show you what that video looks like. If we select Max Dinda, I have my video set up on him at this moment. And so if I'm over in the SDK video cameraman app, you know, I can kind of add and subtract which drivers' cameras I want shown on their driver details. And it's kind of a nice little slide out when you've got it. So this is great when you go on board with someone. You can pull this up and kind of ride with them for a restart or whatever you like to do. I also like to use telemetry, but if a driver has video, like I'm going to make up an excuse to show them on the broadcast. All right. And then we've got the lap chart, like we talked about before. The second chart option is called the stint chart. And I don't know if it's going to, this is probably a terrible track to use as an example. So I won't. I'll show you the pictures instead from another race session. This was a race at Dover, and we were kind of keeping track of Dylan Barris after a restart. We knew from some other plugins that he went with 2 tires while the rest of the field went with 4. And then you can see over the course of his run here and on the chart, every time you run a stint out of the pits, it starts a new line. So these faded gray lines are previous stints, and laps under caution aren't included. That's why there's some gaps in those gray lines. So there was like a 7-lap caution here with Talladega where they were just wrecking on restarts over and over. And in most of these cautions, it looks like there's a 5-lap gap from coming out of the pits to starting the stint. So that's what the gaps are. But what this is showing you, again, both with hard numbers and visually, is that this driver's best lap on this stint was his first one, a 23.9. And then he's been falling off ever since. Now he's down to a 25.3. And his last 3-lap average is a 25.1. So just consistently, and we compared this to the drivers who were on 4 tires at the exact same time of this run and in the race, and they had only lost a half second. So you could see exactly how much time Barris was losing from his pit strategy decision. And that's everything you could ask for from the broadcast booth, to have the exact numbers and see him dropping back and losing positions. He actually restarted in first on this run and dropped back to P11th pretty quickly. So that was that's kind of the ideal way to use this over the course of a longer race, especially short tracks or places that eat up the tires. You'll get these lines over and over and over, and you can see, did they do something different this run to save tires longer than they have the rest of the race, or vice versa? Are they racing harder and burning them up compared to the old one? So I love this. It's not super useful on tracks where tire wear isn't a big deal. But if you get to a Dover, a Richmond, a North Wilkesboro kind of race, you're going to see that happen. And this can be a good way to compare tire strategies and other things. Here's another example of the position chart, but this one's got all the bells and whistles from a live race actually showing up. The cautions are on there, all the pit stops. There's also a couple little tags for things that come out of our action alerts plugin. So we can see back around lap 40, when the caution came out, this driver actually had a meatball flag before he came in and took 4 tires and probably a fast repair to get out of the pits that fast. He also got a wave around lap 65 and a lucky dog right when this screenshot was taken around lap 72. So this chart for me is all about the post-race interview. This guy finishes 3rd. He's on the podium, but maybe you weren't paying attention or you can't remember what happened to him in a 200 lap Talladega race. You can look right at this chart and go, wow, Dylan, what a great race. You overcame a meatball, picked up the wave around, and got a lucky dog just to get back on the lead lap. Super informative. Like I said, that you can use it mid-race too, but for me, it's the end of the race interview where this is the most valuable thing I can think of. And again, that's kind of it. So the last thing I'll mention is if you also have my SimRacer Hub stats plugin that pulls season standings from SimRacer Hub, then you'll also get season stats in the header on this one. So we can see Walter coming into this race 10th in points. He's run 8 races, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s. Let's look at Dinda. Yeah, so he's our points leader. 2 wins on the season, 1st in points. And that's toggleable. Looking at the remote, there's a season stats hide and show. And the main reason you'd want to hide it is if you do none on the chart option and the graphic shrinks down without the video, if you're on someone without video, let's take off the video. Then the season stats actually can't fit in the header, so you'll want to hide them then. But this is a neat one. It shows some slightly different stats if you're in a qualifying session or a practice session, because things like net gain and pit stops don't make any sense. I'm sure best lap is on there, and I'm not sure what the other stat is, but it's something that's a little more relevant to qualifying than in a race. But yeah, and then the third chart that I haven't quite figured out yet is a hot lap chart is what I call it, but it compares the purple lap from the race, so that's the fastest overall lap, to this driver's fastest lap on a chart, and then it also live charts this lap. So if you were running a big qualifying session, like an open qualifying, and you want to watch a driver run a lap live, especially on a road course, it would help you kind of make that dramatic, as you could see exactly how far off someone was and if they were gaining. It also shows the sector times, kind of color coded in F1 style with the green, yellow, purple down at the bottom. But that one's still buggy. It'll be coming soon, but for now we're going to stick with just the two standard charts, the position chart and the stint one for tire fall off. Hope you guys like this one. This has been a lot of work, a long time coming. Got a lot of suggestions in the Discord of what to include or exclude and what options to have for the images and everything like that. So appreciate all the feedback, and